All right. Yo, what the fuck is up, everybody? We are out here chilling. How's everyone doing today?
Doing all right. Exhausted.
Dude, I can bet. So we are sitting here with two of the stagehands, a photographer, or someone who, two people who were at the festival, two stagehands, another festival goer, and another staffer. We would like to hear your all's stories of the catastrophe of Blue Ridge Rock Fest 2023.
Who would like
So,
to start?
Mary, if you would like to start, be my guest.
Sure. Okay, so I have been going to Blue Ridge. This is my third year. I have been media for all 3 years and been photographing all 3 years. I have to say that this year did not go hellaciously, terribly, awfully for me. I know that I'm probably in the minority, and I have a lot of friends that it went terribly for. But yeah, we check in. And I think that was key to missing a whole lot of bullshit. We met up on Tuesday, got in. We were with the first wave of cars in. We were right by the west camp entrance, within, I don't know, 500 feet, if that. We were on a tree line. We had extra room. It was shaded. It was beautiful. In all honesty, it was perfect. Tuesday went off without a hitch. Wednesday, it was stupid hot. Can't do much about that. It is what it is. And, the weather's going to be like the surface of the sun. It's going to be the surface of the sun. The pre-party went off without a hitch. I did not work the pre-party. I just went as a goer. I didn't photograph it. Had a great time. Everything's fine. Thursday still surface of the sun for me. So I did not go in until late afternoon and start photographing. I got to hit Alpha Wolf and then made my way over for Kogi and Cambria. There was supposed to be no weather. It was just supposed to be warm and fine. Started sprinkling, and oh, that seems nice. I did not have a camera poncho with me and was holding thousands of dollars of equipment in my hand without a camera poncho. Kogi starts to downpour, and I ducked under the Zane stage because I didn't know what else to do. I started going to stand outside and let my camera get downpoured on, and then everything stops, and then everything stops, and then it starts getting windy. There's stagehands coming under and throwing plastic on stuff, and then everybody just disappears. And I just stayed under the stage because I didn't know what the hell else to do. There was nowhere else there that anybody said that I could go and get into a building or undercover. I made a TikTok of it, and it has a hell views, and people keep giving me shit for being under the stage. But what else was I supposed to do? Go into one of the green room trailers? Is anybody going to let me in there? So I waited it out, and I got back. Our camp didn't take on too much damage, but our friends we were in premium camping, our friends who were across in, we lovingly call it ghetto camping, but the regular camping, they got completely massacred. They lost, so many people lost all of their shit. We had a friend who got a spinal injury from it and ended up in the hospital that night because they got hit with a canopy. It was a mess, but we rallied, and then we went on to Friday. And again, I have to say, I had a really good time on Friday. From the media side of things, the folks running it did an A+ job. They really, really, really brought it, and it went really, really well. And then Saturday morning came, and all of a sudden it was going to storm again. So we buckled down, we hold it down. Okay, storm ended. Then they tell us it's done because of weather for the day, but there was no weather. okay, so we're gonna make the best of it. We got a slip and slide. We were right across from Camp Show Me Your Butthole. So we were the crazy slip and slide going on over there. And then it got canceled, and everybody just kind of continued to get belligerently drunk. I got to go in and shoot the Shinedown Papa Roach acoustic set. There were only a handful of us there. I got to do that one, and I was there for I Set My Friends on Fire. Now, the grassroots I Set My Friend on Fire pop-up started to get kind of dicey. People have been drinking all day. People were upset. Nobody was listening. They were blocking the road, yelling at cars, throwing stuff at cars. And my partner and I made the decision to leave because we didn't feel, my spidey senses were tingling that something could easily go awry because we were so close to where that, 2,000 to 4,000 people were. So we packed up and left and had to drive probably an hour and a half away to a super shady hotel for the night. But honestly, it had a bed, a toilet, and a shower, and I could lock the door. So we stayed there for the night. Again, I had a blast. I love my festival family, and I am afraid that this was the last Blue Ridge. This festival has put me into contact with so many people that I literally consider family at this point, both for work and then my friends. So my time wasn't awful, and I feel like it's good to have every perspective with that. So I guess, like I said, I'm probably in the minority of that, but I had a good time, and it sucks that we missed it. And I'm about to head out to see Danger and Monuments because we did not see them. So yeah, that's that.
You broke up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess I'll go next. I'm gonna go by not Jonathan for this. This was my third year as stagehand, labor, production, whatever for Blue Ridge Rock Fest. My first one being the 2021 fiasco. So, needless to say, and to jump right into it, when we got up there, the afternoon of the 29th, we already knew well ahead of time, and we're already making jokes because there was literally nothing already in place for the crew that they were well aware was arriving that day. No porta johns, no shower, no fence, no large tents for us to put our camps under. Nothing was already in place, and they didn't even get it out there until right at dusk. And we were already joking that it was starting off exactly like the other two in quite similar ways.
When they did get porta potties and showers out there, it was one shower trailer, good for 4 men, 4 women, that was basically out of use every day. The water wasn't running, or there was no hot water, or it just smelled like it had sat in a field, so there was mold and mildew. And 6 porta potties for over 150 workers at that camp.
The broken air conditioner unit in the shower was putting out more water than the actual shower heads themselves. The thing looked like, it was destined for the scrap yard. And that's what we worked with for the rest of all through load in. There was absolutely nothing set out for shade, water of any kind. The shade didn't exist literally until we created the structures to create the shade. festival staff was completely dropping the ball right off the bat with it. And yeah, it just kind of quickly escalated and devolved from there for our point of view. You want to add anything?
As far as other aspects, they made the ground smaller than last year, but still didn't provide us with ample transportation to and from our stages.
Yeah, we had to walk there.
Our management was met with dismissive replies to basic needs that we were asking for. And to talk, the real thing, the end that I want to say is when Blue Ridge announced that they would have more on Saturday at 5 p.m. regarding if they were canceling the whole event, it wasn't because of weather. It was because we had sent them a list of demands for our campsite that they were assessing if they should meet or not.
Yep. Because we had been just basic. I literally every morning for 4 days straight, my routine was setting out 4 to 5 water bottles in the direct sunlight so that I would have at least something guaranteed hot to wash off with at the end of the day. And you know, under the sneaking suspicion that the showers would still not be repaired, and Lord behold, they never were.
Catering was portions in the size of something a 5th grader would eat. And if you asked for more food, they denied it. If you asked for more food, they would say that you're on the do not feed list.
Yeah, and these were people that have
had
nutritional needs.
Dietary restrictions were ignored. Dietary needs were ignored. There's rumors going around that a band footed the bill for catering for staff after their set. Not true. I've been trying to debunk those rumors for the last day and a half. I've heard that it was a first-time catering company that was brought in, and they obviously didn't have their shit together.
And the thing that really we've all been spending all damn day online responding and attempting to respond to them trying to
suppress us.
Yeah, and change the narrative to weather and trying to portray us as unable to take it, unable, demanding too much, and most of us, this is our anniversary gig working with this particular company. And so for 2021, a lot of us were there for that. And we were the only thing in 2021 that made that show continue, because we were the only thing keeping anything on schedule. And if that didn't happen, there would have been a riot back then. And now they're turning around and making it act like we were just, we don't know what we're doing. We have the problem is the general attitude towards stagehands is that we are ignorant. We know nothing. We have no use or value. When 9 out of 10 times, I hear more often than not, at least a few times a day, having one of us show the people that are supposed to be showing us how to do stuff, that are in charge of these things, we're showing them how to do it, or we're already jumping ahead of it, or they're nowhere to be found to figure out what they want done next. And a lot of us do this because we enjoy coming out here, setting these things up, and then getting to sit back and watch the people come and actually enjoy, and you can see the actual bliss,
elation,
of enjoyment in their face. And for the last several years, and this is not just Rockfest, this is other events. Some of us were there for Astroworld. One of our friends was literally pinned in a golf cart during that whole nightmare. And we're tired. We're tired of watching patrons, the attendees, the vendors being squeezed by these people that have absolutely no business running these things
or want to even cover the basic safety needs of everyone on the venue. They're all about the dollar when it comes down to it. And so, like I said, they shrunk down the festival this year. It was 7 stages last year. They were structures that had to be built from the ground up.
They're some of the simplest set up in our industry, and they've been struggling getting people to take it down.
This year, it's 4 pop-ups. Pop-ups take a day and a half to put up, and it's skimping on every diamond dollar that they can so that he can line his pockets with $1,800 VIP experiences.
I mean, we've been like, the most aggravating thing is seeing how many people came from all over the country, all over the world, used their vacation time, spent their savings, list goes on, and this is ruined. I mean, this is, they're not getting this back, and every year this guy has operated this thing. He's shirked and made false promises over and over, and it's the same script on repeat. And we're glad that there were people out there that enjoyed this, and it's a shame. The problem is, though, there was not nearly enough of that. Yeah. And we're tired of watching the squeeze go on the people that are vending at it and attending this thing, and then being turned in the same breath and telling us, sorry, not in the budget. Sorry, not in the budget. Or coming back to our camp and finding that one of our generators has been confiscated for something else. Water coolers confiscated for other things. Like this thing was, for these people, it was never about music. It's never been about the music. And there's too many people, too many actors, bad actors like this in this industry. And it's gotten a lot of people killed. It's ruined a lot of livelihoods, vendors' livelihoods, all sorts of different vendors' livelihoods. List goes on. And it's always a select few that shirk responsibility over and over again. And we as a collective, that was the final point. It came on the heels of Electric Zoo being a fiasco, Burning Man, and this was just the final cherry on the cake.
Dude, I don't understand why these events, knowing that you all are the backbone of these events going on, these staffers that are behind the scenes are the backbone of any event going on. Is there a promoter? 100% there is. But the only reason shows go on are the stagehands, the light techs, the sound techs, the people that are helping people, directing them where to park, people that are running the vendor booths. Those are the reason that festivals are the experiences they are. And I don't understand why music events keep treating the staff like they don't mean shit. And it's fucking ridiculous.
And the thing is, I think why they're so heavily active trying to change the narrative on this and suppress that it happened is because they're well aware that it's not just the stagehands. We're the patrons, the vendors. I mean, over the last several years, I used to be a food vendor up until 2020 for about 6 years. And the funny thing is back in 2017, when the first Blue Ridge Rock Festival was announced, I was actually approached about vending at this event, which floored me because of its size, first year size of, I believe it was like 20,000 attendees were going to be there, several big name headliners and everything else. But then I started looking into who the guy was, and the fact that he was 18 years old, that he was not even of age to get a liquor license, but somehow had the financial means to put on this thing, and it sent red flags to me right off the bat. I had bad feelings about it, and it's ironic that 6 years later I finally get to see the culmination of all this from the total opposite end of things.
I mean, check Facebook. Numerous other production and staging companies have put out. We have friends in the tech industry that posted stuff because she was there. She was one of the techs that was working with us, and in the end, her and her 12-man team had to load out their own gear because our list of demands went unlistened to, and 80% of our crew was gone Saturday afternoon. After we found out that they would not honor anything that we had said, we were gone.
Not even an attempt. And the general attitude for the majority of us is, why are we going to continue to enable this to go on? We are enabling this at this point. And like any abusive relationship, sometimes you have to make that drastic pull and very publicly out these people for who they really are.
Oh, 100%. That is what needs to be done. Now, I got another question for y'all. If they would have attempted to bring to you what they promised to you, do you think that you all still would have walked, or do you think like it was just way too late for them to even attempt at that point?
If they would have brought it to us, I can't speak for everyone, but if they would have brought it to us relatively in the first 3 to 5 days after we got there, not 3 to 5 days before we left there, I would have been more acquiesced to stay. But after hearing from even my management that, oh, we sent them this text and they replied with something totally off the wall, unrelated to what we said. Let's try to have a better day tomorrow and get this festival going without a hitch.
Yeah, our management texts about water, they get a text back about parking. Our management texts about the shower house, they get nothing. They text about catering, what the status is on that. They get a text about camp.
Oh, it's hard to get to stage 4. We're installing gravel,
but we really need to stick our guns and see this through. I mean, this faux rah crap. And
but yeah, if it would have been relatively a couple days after people had showed up, yeah, I would have stuck it through, because it would have been better, maybe, if the showers were working. I can't speak for people that took the shower. I saw the inside of it. I don't know everything about the water. I am 6.5 feet tall. I don't fit in a shower trailer. I can't put my hand between my head and the ceiling. So I was going to Pilot every day, $18 a shower.
Yeah, a lot of us were.
Not including the 20-minute drive there, 20-minute drive back. I did show call Thursday night, didn't get back and into bed until 4 a.m. Granted, I didn't have to be at work until the next day in the afternoon, but I should have been able to get off work, walk to catering, have some kind of meal waiting that wasn't 7-hour reheated garbage that I wouldn't feed. I can't even give a description.
Yeah, there's nobody you would want to feed.
Yeah, and then walk to the trailer, take and go to bed. But that was never a possibility this year or last year for me.
Yeah, it's always been last year. Last year when they first moved to the VIR, the catering was positioned. The staff catering was in the center barn structure,
mile and a half from where we camped,
and we were only supplied, I believe it was like 5 or 6 person capacity golf carts at the start of the event. But once the event started, they snagged 4 of these carts and pressed them into service, charging the patrons $5 to tow them around this mass fucking property that they had put them in, and subjecting us to walk through the festival traffic during show and grab our food, which last year the catering was a lot better. They had a way better company back last year.
Yeah.
But this year they cut on everything. That it was stupid simple how they were trying to do this thing, and this is what we ended up with.
Dude, I always thought that the people who came that were the camp taxis brought their own golf carts. That's what I thought, because because I remember last year I took a taxi quite a few times because we were in one of the further back campsites last year. And the guy was talking that, he had worked, Rocklahoma, he had worked Rockville, he pretty much his summer was going to festivals and being a golf cart driver to send people to, and to get people to and from their campsites. So I came to the assumption like, oh, these people travel around with their own golf carts. But hearing what you all just said, like, that is fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The whole time that we're trying to maintain this and soldier on, we're watching live stream in real time what the patrons are going through as they're coming in. And one of the ones that stuck out to me was this one guy who had purchased the early arrival for $150 or whatever the heck it was, and didn't make the 10 o'clock cutoff time. So he's just out that $150, and knowing full well the amount of money they're squeezing, and just with no concern for safety, no concern for anybody involved. I mean, yeah. Sorry, I've been up for 24 hours straight.
Hey, listen, bro, you are A-okay. I completely understand. Wednesday, whenever we arrived to camp, I had been up for 24 hours by the time I finally got to bed. So I completely get it, man. So that's completely understandable. I am just glad that to hear that you guys actually stuck up for yourselves instead of just letting this guy who obviously has had a shit show of a festival just about every year that it's been in existence continue on with doing what he was doing. Now, I also know that as of Saturday, the way things played out, I know myself as well as Courtney, we were both like, there ain't no way that this got canceled just for weather. There ain't no fucking way this just got canceled for weather because it's beautiful out here right now.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And then that was the thing that we recognized right away is the 5 o'clock announcement time happened to just coincide with what they were waiting to see what we were going to do.
But in actuality, the 5 p.m. deadline was set into effect Friday. And when we got off a show call after standing there, loading out Slipknot, dealing with their techs being assholes, watching their tour bus drive away, walking past catering. I forgot where I was going.
The fact that it was just typical garbage, man.
Yeah.
Like, the big rumor, like he said, is that Slipknot had taken care of the catering for everybody involved that night, and that is false. Like the thing is every year this happens. There's a concise effort on behalf of on the part of several people that try to drown this out and chalk it up yet again so they can pull the wool over everybody's eyes another year.
And as far as, like I was saying, I remember my train of thought now. Once we got done loading out Slipknot, made it back to camp, realized that the showers still weren't working, and the timeline got moved up to 7 a.m., in which case everyone at our camp took a vote, and it was decided upon that we were done.
We would attend.
So their 5 o'clock update time was what they originally thought we were going to give them an update on, when in actuality, we were already cleared out by then, forcing them to effectively cancel and blame it on weather so that they don't have to issue refunds.
Just to cushion everything.
It's in the stipulations that if it's due to inclement weather, no refunds are issued.
So like I understand the stipulations with weather, but like it was apparent to everyone who was there, camping, people who were staying in hotels, people who had Airbnbs, who, got campsites off site and was still shuttling in. It was apparent to them that it wasn't weather. I know the chatter throughout camp all day Saturday was there ain't no way this is canceled for weather. And that's whenever everything started popping up about the stagehands walking. And I'm like, that makes way more sense for this being canceled than weather. They are just using weather as a cover story to try not to refund people. But it's coming out left and right now that you guys walked. It's everywhere. I mean, that's the main reason. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, the first thing this morning, we realized what was going on. They started, all these different Facebook groups started actively censoring our replies to the, just couldn't handle it comments. And within 30 minutes, everybody that had been there was actively pushing on, trying to take back the algorithm and take back the narrative and away from them. Because, like, we're not going to be gaslit and treated like this anymore.
Bro, 100%. And I will stand behind y'all 100%. Hearing your all's side of everything that happened, I will stand behind you all 100% because what happened to you guys should not happen to anybody who is coming to work an event to put on a killer event for patrons.
Right.
You asked earlier why the mentality is, especially towards the stagehands. To be quite honest and quite simple, it's just the age-old boomer mentality of, well, it was like that for years. You just got to deal with it, and that's exactly what's led to all this stuff that we've been watching. We see every year there's another event where some fiasco happens, and that's that kind of attitude that's got us here.
Well, with everyone having that mentality of this is how it's always been, this is how nothing will ever change until people force change. And what you guys just did at Blue Ridge Rock Fest is going to force events to rethink how they treat their help, how they treat the backbone of their event.
Oh, I mean, we can't go into too much detail at the moment, but we'll just leave it at this: that what we've done has caught the attention of a lot of important eyes in this industry, and they are reaching out to us. Like all these people that are on there right now are going to be eating a lot of crow for buffet, and the only thing they got to drink is water, kind of like what we were left with. Except in our case, it was a half a case of cheese quesadilla and a sliver of a corn on the cob.
Dude, that is so sad to hear. And like it really sucks for me because like I, had told you all and was super transparent about with y'all is before I even made it into the festival, I had already put my payment plan into the works for next year's tickets before any of this weekend's events happened.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was just going to say that was one of the other driving forces. We knew that there were plenty of people out there that had it was the same situation last year and the year prior, and the real nitty gritty truth never ever had made it out there in the prior years, and this year it's just the breaking point. I mean, we're tired of watching people waste their money just to turn around and cheat out on the labor and the people that are actually here to put the damn thing up for them.
Bro,
like
100%.
Oh boy, I'm exhausted.
Dude, I appreciate y'all coming on and chatting with us. Like this was like a great insight on everything that had happened this weekend and gave a lot of clarification for the people viewing in that was seeing all the stuff that was just saying it was weather, it was weather, it was weather. So I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with us this evening.
No, we
thank you for having us.
Absolutely, thank you for reaching out to us. I mean, every voice right now keeps this moving, and right now the power is coming into our hands, and we just need to keep this momentum going. So every person involved helps, and we thank you very much,
dude. I just want to see events happen that everyone is treated great. I mean, and to be 100% honest with you, Blue Ridge doesn't even treat the patrons great either. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know why I keep coming back. I guess I'm just a glutton for fucking punishment, I guess. You know what I mean?
I think everybody here has had that same thought to themselves at some point.
100%. Now, I am going to transition over to Folmes. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Now, I know that you were working the event this weekend. What were you doing with working the event?
Yes, sir. So, I was actually on one of the security teams. I'm not gonna say which one because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. But yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was doing for the past like 8 fucking days.
So, were you out there during the craziness of Wednesday?
Yes,
Of the
sir.
early of the second day of early check-in?
Yeah. So, I got there Sunday the 3rd, and basically I could do like a day by day explanation of how it went. We could do whatever you really want, you know.
Bro, go day by day. The more, the merrier.
Okay, sure, man. So, the first day when I got there, they made, basically one of my buddies reached out to me asking if I wanted to work this, and I was like, "Sure, dude. You know, it sounds cool. It pays more than my day job pays, well, allegedly." But so I said that, did it, and then the first day they didn't even have like things ready for us. Like we were supposed to have bunkers to sleep in and like showers and all that. Like, dude, I didn't shower until I got home like yesterday. So I went a week without a shower. Luckily, I brought a bunch of those little like shower wipes to stay clean. And like, I mean, I pour water on myself, but they offered a shower, but it was like the same kind of thing as those stagehand gentlemen. Like, I was not stepping foot in there. Like, I would rather just not shower than bathe in that water, you know. But eventually we figured it out. We got a place to stay. It wasn't too bad the first day, um, the third, and then the fourth. We were just kind of watching one of the areas where some of the worker guys were loading in. That wasn't too terrible. The next day was another. We were watching there. Then they made me drive my personal car, which I didn't know I was supposed to do, to like somewhere like 30 minutes away to watch some more equipment over there. They completely forgot about me. I didn't get any food. Luckily, I had my car and I prepared, so I brought a bunch of snacks and stuff. So I was just eating those like cheap little granola bars all night, making sure I didn't like starve. And I brought it on myself to bring like 2 or 3 cases of water. I work for Monster as my day job, so I have a bunch of those, and I was passing those out to the workers and some people that were needed them. But yeah, so that was those days. Eventually, once I finally got in contact with one of my supervisors, they were like, "Dude, why are you still there?" I was like, "You guys didn't tell me I could leave. Like, I didn't want to leave all this equipment here." But that was that. Then yeah, the next day was when that's when getting in Wednesday, and that's when things really just started getting chaotic. Like you could tell that I don't know who it was, but somebody was totally underprepared for what was going to happen, like I was dealing with people that were in their cars for up to 13 hours. Uh Everyone, fairly understanding and yeah, right, like I was trying to be super nice to everybody because I'm a metalhead too. Like this is like my family, I wanted to make sure everybody was cool, everyone was safe. I was trying to be as understanding and helpful as I could. Most people understood that they weren't taking it out on us, at least from my experience. But obviously, I mean, some people were rightfully upset that they were sitting there for hours. Like there was one point, I was like searching cars and making sure nobody was bringing in guns or big knives or like large amounts of drugs, blah blah blah. Shit that you shouldn't be bringing to festivals. And some guy came up to me, one of the other workers. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to hold this off." I was like, "Oh, why? What's happening?" He's like, "They completely ran out of campgrounds." So then at some point in that night, dude, they were like physically making new campgrounds, like so that all the people that they oversold to could actually go and have a place to stay. Like it was fucked up, dude. I felt so
Okay,
bad for these people.
so Wednesday, Courtney and I camped together. She was
Okay,
a part of our crew for camping.
right on.
We got in line at 2 p.m. on Wednesday and didn't get to our campsite until 2 a.m.
Yeah, it was fucked up. It was
Hang on,
really
it
fucked
gets
up.
better. We had friends who got in that line an hour and a half to 2 hours after us who made it to their campsite 2 to 3 hours ahead of us. And we were camped around people who had gotten in that line at 7 p.m., 5 hours after we had gotten in line.
There was one point where it was towards the end of that giant line, and then some people were coming up, and I had to check them as well. Dude, there was a point where like a bunch of the workers were just standing around not doing anything. I was like, guys, how do we keep this moving? Like, I want to make sure these people are able to go, and they were like, yeah, I don't know, I don't care anymore. I was like, bro, what the fuck, dude? Like, I don't know.
Personally, our car did. You go first, Courtney. My bad.
Yeah, it was messed up. Like they didn't even fully tell us what to do, you know? Like I was told the first day would be training, but we didn't really get trained. Like I did like probably 6 or 7 different jobs in my week stay there and I wasn't I mean, I did some on the site training obviously and like I figured it out, but there were points where people would ask me questions and I'd just be like, "Dude, I seriously genuinely wish I could tell you what to do or what, but nobody told me anything. Everybody asked doesn't know as well. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe ask someone else. Like, it's fucked up. I hated having to do that, but it's just like I didn't have the information they needed that I should have known. You know, that someone should have told me like some of this information, and I just was unaware of it. Oh, did I have like yeah? So there were supervisors like riding around that were in and out, you know, so I could ask them when they were there, but they weren't always there because I mean it was very understaffed at times. So people were working much longer shifts than we were originally told that we'd be working, which sucked because I mean I didn't even get paid yet. They are implying I will in 2 weeks, but right now I'm just kind of hoping that that's true. But I don't fucking know. Yeah, it was understaffed. So like we were all working longer. We were just getting paid by the day, you know. So it wasn't like an hourly thing. So we were supposed to work 12-hour shifts. Like yeah, I pulled like a 27-hour at one point, and I'm pretty sure I'm just getting paid for one day for that, which fucking sucks. Because that's like it's like $10 an hour at that point, or some. I don't want to get into money, but yeah, it was fucked up.
Dude, the whole weekend felt like it was just complete catastrophe. That's honestly what it felt like.
Yeah, I can agree with you for sure.
And I feel like it was failed on all sides of things. I mean, obviously we just, we heard from a couple of the stagehands. We heard from someone who had a pretty positive experience and like now we're hearing from someone who, obviously works security and I just don't understand like at all where everything went awry.
Yeah, I think it was just from my speculation. I just think maybe it was just underplanned, or like they just kept selling things, and more people showed up than they were prepared for. I think that was a huge part of it. Obviously, I don't know everything. Uh, I wish I knew more, but that was just my speculation that it's just understaffed with too many, festival goers and like patrons. I think that was a big part of it.
Dude, what Wednesday should have been the bad omen that told us to get the fuck out of there.
I
That
was I was thinking the same exact thing, and then I thought it was funny that Bad Omens was playing, because I kept thinking there's so many bad omens about this. Well, they didn't even fucking play. I don't think.
yeah, so like they were supposed to play Sunday
Oh yeah, that didn't.
and but like bad omen I don't know man, like I don't understand like why I keep wanting to come back to Blue Ridge. Granted, like I said, I had bought the tickets before the events of this weekend, and now I'm sitting here like, damn, bro, I shouldn't have bought them because that shit just is fucking bonkers. How everyone just got treated, and then in turn get a fucking email at 12:30 on Sunday night telling everyone they had to be out of the campgrounds by 2 p.m.
Oh, is that how that happened? They sent me home a little early, so I didn't even. I left yesterday.
Yeah, so we left Sunday as well. I think we ended up getting out of there by 11, but Saturday night they sent out technically Sunday morning they sent out an email at like 12:30 telling everybody that they had to be out of there by 2 p.m. yesterday.
Jesus Christ.
I'm
How was-
like,
yeah, I'm sure. How was that? Did it? I'm sure that was probably very chaotic.
oh, dude, I'm pretty sure we partied until fuck 2, 3 in the morning Saturday night, just because
Mhm.
everyone was like, "Let's fucking go."
That's all you could do at that point. I understand that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, so like a little bit about like our experience coming in. Like, obviously, we waited 12 hours to get in. But like Thursday, we ended up getting caught in the storm because I was coming out of the pit from watching Alpha Wolf and I felt huge raindrops hitting. And I'm like, yo, it's about to get fucking wet out here. And everyone at our camp left all of their windows down, like open to like let air into the tent while we were, out and about
Oh,
for the day.
I've heard so many people say that same thing. That's so fucked.
And we I went over to our group because we had a little spot that we had like picked out right beside the Smart Punk Records stage, just as our like little beacon. Because
Mhm.
most of the bands I wanted to see, and most of the bands that my wife wanted to see, were all pretty much playing Smart Punks. We were like, "Fuck it, let's just set up a spot here beside Smart Punks so that we have a place where if we get separated, everyone knows where to come back to. So we can get out of here together, so on and so forth." And I go back over to where they were sitting, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm about to run back to camp. It's about to rain really bad, and all of our windows are open." Within minutes of me saying that, one of the girls that were with us said she would go back because she was already planning on going back to camp anyways to grab a bite to eat. So she went back, closed everything up the best she could, and then we decided to stay because we were like, if it's just rain, it'll pass. The show will go on. And then they put up uh the pretty much the evacuation notice to like get the
Oh,
fuck out.
yeah, right.
So we were on our way out, but we all stopped to pee, and by the time that we stopped to pee, the evacuation notice had went off the screen, and we looked back, and it looked like it was clearing up. So I was like, bro, it's clearing up. Escape the Fate's about to fucking go on. Let's just hang out, see if they start playing music, and do our thing. Well, then we noticed the thunderhead rolling in, saw the first crack of lightning, dipped. We made it halfway back to our campsite and like sought shelter under someone else's canopy and helped them hold their canopy down.
Oh, yeah, keep going.
And me being petrified of thunderstorms, your boy had a mild panic attack underneath that canopy, freaking the fuck out.
Mhm.
And it was all good though. Storm passed. I mean, a lot of people's shit got destroyed, and like I feel for them. But we got lucky enough that where we ended up camping at was like in a peninsula of trees, and I'm pretty sure that that is what saved just about everyone's stuff from being destroyed. All of our stuff got a little bit wet, but you can always dry it out the next day. You just nothing got destroyed, and I'm thankful for that on our end. Now I saw what happened to other people's shit, and I'm just like, fuck, bro, that is terrible.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll talk about what I was doing Thursday now since you got there. So, while you guys were there, did you see the Monster Energy rig right in front of the stage, the Monster Energy stage?
Yeah, are you talking about like where the Monster Energy
Yeah,
like truck was?
yeah, up the hill from the ADA.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
giving out the free drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I work for Monster as my day job, like I said earlier. So because I had that connection with them, they wanted me to work security at that rig because they needed somebody over there regardless. And mind you, when I was talking to the events guy from Monster, he said that they were promised more than one security guard, but I was the only one they were able to offer until later somebody came for a night shift. He was a really nice guy. But yeah, dude, so the first couple hours it wasn't terrible. This is a little hazy for me because this is when I was at over 12 hours, no sleep, like 24-hour, 27-hour shift. This was that day for me. So it was all, my memory's not the strongest from this day, but I remember the first couple hours being fine. Like it was a regular festival. It was like, all right, this is cool. It was really hot. Um, I had to like carry people to the EMS tent and shit, which I mean I didn't mind doing. But some of the EMS guys like didn't even seem to care. Like I originally would run over there and then tell them like, "Holy shit! Like somebody's doing this, you know, something bad was happening," and they'd be like, "All right, well, whatever." It's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool," and trying to figure that out. But then once the storm started, dude, that was a shit show because I mean, people were seeking shelter wherever they could, understandably so. Um, there was a point where it was at one of the vendor tents. Like I just kind of took it on my own to like walk to all the tents around me and just see if anybody was hurt or anything like that because the monster guys had their rig taken care of. And there was like, I mean, dude, tents were flying. Like we were having to like hold them down with body weight. I had to help some random lady that was also having a panic attack because of the thunderstorm. And then there was, if you know those like where those seats were for the ADA people, the people with like handicaps and stuff, there was like a little section, handicap section, which I mean was, I thought that was nice that they set that up. But there were at least 100 people like hiding underneath that during the storm, and like it was a metal section, and there was lightning, so like it wasn't. I just went over there and I was just like, guys, like I understand why you're here, but I would really get out of this situation because if lightning strikes, you're all fucked, you know. And
See, I built the ADAs,
oh, you
all
did?
of them at all the stages, and I questioned the people that we were working with to build them. Why are we building them in the sun? Why are we in the middle of a field? Where
Right.
are they going to put a roof on it? And they had no answers to any of that.
Exactly. It was
Bro,
so underprepared and like nobody like took the precaution. Like, dude, before I went there, I saw that the weather was supposed to be bad just from my weather app. I was thinking, okay, well, they probably have some precautions set in place. I mean, they had that big VIP tent, but people had to pay extra to be over there. Like,
And they were kicking people out because of they weren't in VIP during the storm.
yeah, dude, that's fucked up. Like, I hate that shit, man. I feel like they should have had extra precautions set because what there were like 50,000 people on some days, and like having to deal with terrible weather like that. Even like Friday went smooth. Friday was a good day, and from my perspective, but it was hot as fuck out. Like people were passing out, you know.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question of you all? Because did see text messages, and I don't know if they were from Thursday or if they were from Friday. But at some point Friday, was it put out that the festival was under a tier 2 weather warning, possibly going into tier 3?
Where I didn't hear anything.
I had heard rumors that they were holding off shuttles because they were under a tier 2, but I didn't hear anything about it moving to a tier 3.
Okay. That was just something that I had seen and was just wanting to, clarify for my own personal thing, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that were on the Facebook groups that had probably seen the same comment or the same post that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And which here once here in a few minutes we're actually going to get into. I've got a story from a lady who had her 5-year-old daughter who got caught up in that shuttle line leaving on Thursday. I have a story from someone who tried getting in on Friday as well that got turned away that I would like to talk about. But it's so sad that a festival that's out in the open, it's not in a building, had no evacuation plan for the amount of people that were shuttling in every single day. Now, us in camping, we were, if we can make it back to if we could have made it back to, if we would have made the decision to leave at the proper time instead of waiting it out to stay in there to see the bands we wanted to see, we could have sought shelter in our vehicle or something, or you know what I mean? But those people who had to wait in those shuttle lines through that storm had nowhere to go.
And I
And
don't
that is
know.
insane.
Oh, sorry. I don't know how much of this is true, but I've heard that they also have had their contract pulled. VIR won't issue any statement. I've heard that the fire marshal attempted to shut them down because of they were over capacity, and the state police because they didn't have any kind of shelters for the patrons when it came to severe weather.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was the first thing. One of the first things I noticed on the first early days is that there was no address of what to do during inclement weather, storms, any other emergency situation where mass evacuations required. We know that there were several medical situations that were obnoxiously long that resulted in some things. Yeah.
Yeah, the rumors that are going around of someone passing away are probably true. It happened. They say it happened during the Sleep Token set. I was backstage during that set and watched an ambulance with lights on but no sirens drive right by the back of the stage. Don't know what it was doing. Don't know why it was there, but it obviously had a reason to be.
It doesn't make sense to me, right? Like, I know that I like to go to a lot of sporting events. I know for a fact I got kicked the fuck out of a Phillies game 3-4 years ago because of a thunderstorm came in. Now, granted, a Phillies game, you can park a lot closer than what you could at this festival if you were someone who was coming, was a day passer. And I know they kicked us out and said, "All right, be safe, have a good one." But there was no way that a festival that you have to park 5-6 miles away from doesn't have some kind of evacuation plan. I mean, they said that they bought all these fucking buses to cut down on wait times, and there was no buses at the entrance for people to even get on to seek shelter.
Right.
Like, how can a festival, and honestly, as a patron, even though I've camped every year I've went, I, as a patron, was really hoping to see that them buying these buses was going to be the improvement they said it was, and they proved this weekend that it wasn't, because you still had people waiting in 2-3 hour long lines to get shuttled from the venue to the parking lot, or from the parking lot to the venue, which is absolutely like blasphemous for me to even think about, because I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Now, which they even said they had hired an adequate amount of drivers for the buses they had bought. Fill
So,
us in, bud.
No, I don't want to tell too much information, but I will just say that at one point I was asked if I knew how to drive a bus, and to which I said no. I don't want to talk too much about it. I still want to get paid, but
I want to know how Friday and Saturday went for you, Folms.
Friday and Saturday. Okay. Friday for me personally, I'm gonna be honest. Friday was amazing. Like, it was actually fucking awesome. There was like a lot of weather issues because of how hot it was. I had to help some people with that and get some people water that people didn't want to give them water, but I was like, these people fucking need water. And I heard a bunch of horror stories about like hour-long waits at the water refill stations, which there clearly weren't as many as were promised, which is, obviously that's a whole issue that's really messed up. Like Warped Tour, dude, you could get water in like 10 minutes, and there were so
No
many.
way. No way. I was at Warped Tour in 2019 and waited 45 minutes in line for the one water station that was on Atlantic City Beach.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't go to that one. So the ones I went to at Merriweather, there were like multiple water refill stations, and it was easy. But that's I guess different experiences.
Yeah.
Different venues, different years. But yeah, Friday was like actually awesome. There was like I was working the Monster area. We had like a VIP section upstairs. I will say that there were definitely some people at the VIP station that I think should have been working, if that makes sense. Like some higher up people that was like, why are they up here right now? Shouldn't they be like figuring out what's going on with the rest of the weekend, especially with all the rumors of the inclement weather. But that was just kind of something I was like, all right, that's fucking bullshit. But sorry, I'm swearing a lot. That's just my natural fucking. But then Saturday they I got there at 10 o'clock because mind you, Friday night I was supposed to be. I had that bunker house, right, that I was telling you guys about. No one would let me over there. Not even the people that like worked with me. They wouldn't let me over to the bunker house where I was supposed to sleep. So luckily, I had friends with the Airbnb like 20 minutes away, and I could get there. But dude, that was just for me. I can't imagine like what all these other people that needed to get where they had to go couldn't get to where they needed in their vehicle. Like I thought that was so stupid. There were so many people there, but there were only like 4 or 5 small roads that people can drive on. Like that's why
Yeah.
traffic was so bad. There were so few roads. Like for that amount of people, like that was so ridiculous. And there were windy roads. I almost got hit by a tour bus one day. That was terrifying.
You
It was
talk about that 25-mile-an-hour curve?
What with the tour bus?
Oh, yeah.
No, so for the tour bus, I don't exactly remember where I was, but I was driving to get to somewhere I needed to go, and it was like a little one-way kind of like dirt road that I was driving on.
Ah.
And then a big ass tour bus was just coming right for me. And mind you, I bought a car like a week before this festival, so I was like trying so hard to make sure it stayed clean and stayed nice. And I just had to like turn right over to the side of the road, almost fucking flip the thing going down a hill, but I mean I didn't obviously. And
Yeah.
it was just like it was so underprepared. Nobody knew what was going on the whole entire time. Like but yeah, Saturday we got there. We were ready to work, and then we got on site. We shuttled on site, and then it started pouring. Then we immediately went back to the place that they were keeping us, and then we got the call that the festival wasn't happening. I was told it was because of weather. At that point, there was tons of weather. I didn't know about the walk off or anything with you guys yet. I didn't find out about that until like yesterday. Really, I'd only hear like rumors, but and I was directing. They made me work directing traffic of people that were leaving the campsite. So like, obviously you had to drive through the where the check-in area was to leave the festival grounds. So, or at least some people did. I don't know if everyone did. I don't fully understand what the whole venue was. I only know where I was. And dude, that was crazy. Like during the daytime, it wasn't too terrible, but they didn't tell me I'd be dealing with 2 lanes of traffic pretty much by myself for a majority of it with no traffic controlling experience. I mean, I learned it. It wasn't too hard, but that was pretty crazy. But then when nighttime hit, man, like I was literally just in the middle of 2 big ass lanes. Like someone was coming to my right, someone was coming to my left, trying to get through this tiny little curve. Where, mind you, there were 5 cops just sitting there the whole time I was doing this. They were just sitting there bullshitting. That pissed me off so much because they're the people that are supposed to like know how this stuff works and be able to help. They were literally just sitting there bullshitting with each other, watching me struggle, watching other people struggle. Like people came up to me, like someone was hurt, they had questions. I sent them to the cops, and I saw them just get mad at the cops. Dude, the cops weren't fucking doing anything at that point. I don't want to speak on the rest of it. I don't know. But in my experience in that situation, that was really frustrating. And then once it got to be nighttime, like they gave me a little like red lightsaber looking thing, which that thing was actually cool. I liked it, but there was no light on me. So I was literally 2 lanes of traffic, giant trailers coming at me both ways with just that little lightsaber, man. Like I was so scared I was gonna get hit that night. But I didn't want to leave because there was no one else to direct these people, and I don't want to see any accidents because that would have happened so easily if there wasn't somebody there in that post. Um, Also, like I can speak with what you guys were saying. Like the food situation was I'm gonna be honest, the first 2 days, the food was actually amazing. Like before the festival started, I was like, "Oh, if this is how it's gonna be the whole time, this is actually insane." Like there was like steak and mushrooms and all this really nice stuff. I was very surprised. And then after that, dude, I didn't get fed like at all. Like there was a couple times where I found food or I tried to grab food and they'd be like, "You're not allowed to eat." And I was like, "Dude, I haven't eaten in 12 hours except for like my little granola bars." But I don't know. The food situation was really fucked up. It just seems like the whole thing, like they promise things. Like I've been keeping up with Blue Ridge before working it, and they were talking about, oh, we're gonna fix all the problems from last year. This is a fan-driven experience. It made it seem like they really cared about the people. They were in the community. Because like metalheads, we all love each other for the most part. Like we want to make sure everybody's okay. And then nah, dude, like it's just a fucking cash grab for sure. They were just hiding behind the facade that they cared about, the patrons, that they cared about the workers. They don't give a fuck. They care about the money, man. Like disgusting. It was so greedy and disgusting how they oversold everything. I don't know. I'm just still pissed off about it because I'm sure a lot of people are.
Dude, it's absolutely ridiculous. And as a patron that has like pretty, essentially thrown money at Blue Ridge, the last 2-3 years, it makes me feel even worse that like I helped continue like the mission going on for them. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying. I wouldn't beat yourself up about it though, because you're just a music lover who wanted to have a good time. Like you probably spent your hard-earned money to get tickets to a festival that they promised you was going to be better this year. Like I wouldn't beat yourself up about that at all, because you're just someone trying to have a cool escape for a week. Like, dude, there were people traveling from all over the world. I met people from New Zealand, from Australia that flew here. They spent all their money to be here. They spent their savings, renting cars, renting hotels, buying camping materials. Like, so many people got screwed over. Out of so much money, people not getting to the proper places that they wanted to, or I don't know. It was just such a mess. Nobody knew what was going on.
Now, I
And
would
I think,
go ahead.
sorry, I feel like we all heard the horrors of 3 years ago, like them overselling camping and this, that, and the other. I feel like we were all hoping that they learned from those mistakes from those past years. So whenever we knew that this year was going to be a lot bigger than it was last year, things would have run a lot smoother. Obviously, it didn't for various reasons because of the disconnect with everybody.
It's just like they had a year.
And it's really disappointing to hear how disconnected it was from you guys' perspective.
Yeah, like just the fact that they had like over a year to plan for some of these things, and like I was seeing people starting to plan things that they should have been planning months ago, like in the moment when it was happening. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. Like if you're getting paid to do this, this is your job to plan for these things. Wouldn't you expect them to actually plan for it so that people don't get hurt? Because dude, I don't know how many people got hurt. I don't know if anyone died, how many people died, but like that's ridiculous, Like ah,
Hey, we do have a question for Foams from the comments, and someone wants to know, like, did you ever get a reasoning why they said you couldn't eat? Like, did they have a manager or anything like that that was like controlling who got food and when?
for me, it was just people would never do rounds to the post I was at to drop food off. So it wasn't
Okay.
like we're in those situations. I mean, there was one situation where I like just clocked in and there was food and I tried to grab it and they said I couldn't eat. Um, I didn't really get reasoning for that because I had to immediately go out to my post. I was just like kind of like, all right, whatever, I'll just eat my granola bar, it's fine. Um, in that situation. But the other situations I didn't get food because nobody came around doing rounds to drop food off to me. Yeah. So basically that $10 thing of granola bars I bought definitely came in clutch. Shout out Nature Valley.
Bro, them Nature Valley granola bars are pretty filling. I ain't gonna lie. That's what I used to
It's
eat a
so
lot back in the day.
They're so good. They break so easily though. The little green ones. Like one day I like put my vape in my pocket and I pulled it out. It was just full of Nature Valley granola inside of it. I was like, God damn it, dude.
No.
That was frustrating. I also got a free vape. Shout out Raz, I think is the brand. Because Thursday night I was going around just checking to see if all the vendors were cool. And then the Raz guys were like, "Oh, we're good. How are you?" And I was like, "Dude, it's fucked." And they were like, "You want some free vapes?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So shout out them. That was awesome. Really appreciated that.
Dude. The vendors that I got the opportunity to talk to, I didn't really stop by too many tents because I was like, man, if I stop by, I'm gonna spend a fuck ton of money, and I'm trying not to spend a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
But the ones I did stop by, like even like some like even the food vendors, like they all seem super chill, like down to earth, and honestly, it was the same thing last year too. Like I didn't have too many bad experiences with vendors last year either.
Yeah, the vendors. I know a bunch of them too because I worked a four chord music festival maybe a month ago. So I already it's cool seeing like it's kind of like they're just a bunch of carnies. They just travel with these festivals. I thought that was really cool. But a lot of people were looking out for me because I met them before and already made a connection with them. But dude, they got screwed over too. Like I haven't really reached out to any of the friends I met that are vendors. But I mean, obviously they couldn't sell things for like 2.5 days. I'm sure that they're not getting a refund on the deposit that they made to actually set up shop. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. Like I don't know anything. I'm not there anymore. But I felt so bad for them. I just hope that they at least broke even, hopefully made some profits.
Yeah, I saw one vendor.
I was actually,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Billy.
No.
I was actually, sorry, this might be going off topic, but I mentioned whenever they shut everything down Saturday, the people that were depending on the vendors as their food for the day, did they even keep that open during the festival at all?
Oh. So Saturday, they didn't even let patrons into the festival.
Okay.
From my experience, because when I got into the festival grounds, I think it was like around 10:30 maybe, and there was nobody on the grounds. They were kind of anticipating that it wasn't even gonna happen because of the inclement weather. To be fair, Saturday it did pour down rain really hard. I'm sure you guys can speak on that. Like that was, but that's another thing. Like it poured down rain for like an hour or two, and then the rest of the day was beautiful. So
I will say on Thursday, after our catering tent got destroyed, they fed us at around 2:30 a.m. and it was food from one of the vendors. I don't know, whoever was selling noodles and rice and cabbage and meat. So shout out to that vendor.
oh yeah, shout out the noodle vendor. I don't remember what they're called, but I've met them at a couple festivals before. They're really nice people.
Yeah,
Like
they
the
were the ones that provided our food that night and not our catering.
Was it Island Noodles? Because like that shit is dope.
They look out
Fucking banging.
every time I see them. They look out for me, man. They're awesome people over there. Shout out Island Noodles. I met them at Reggae Rise Up and Four Chord Festival. Shout out Island Noodles. Those are good.
Yeah.
People. Those are really good people. That's
See,
cool that they
that's
fed you guys. I didn't know about that.
yeah. I mean, honestly, like even last year, I was there on Saturday last year whenever it had rained, and they let the show continue on. Now, granted, Thursday it was a thunderstorm. Saturday morning was a thunderstorm, and then it just rained. But the whole time I'm like, how are you going to sit here and say this is a rain or shine event, and then it is just raining and there's no event? Like, there's literally way more to this than it just being inclement weather.
And that's when Billy and I were like, there's something deeper going on. There's got to be. I mean, it doesn't
Definitely.
take a rocket scientist to figure that out, but
Now, I'm going to go ahead and read the account that I got from this very nice lady yesterday about her and her daughter. Where is it at? Here it is. So she took her 5-year-old daughter, and they had been planning this for all year, and they've been excited for it. They booked an Airbnb an hour away for 4 nights since it was going to be 4 days, and her husband had requested vacation. Thursday, when they got there, they parked way in the back of the orange parking and pushed their daughter in a stroller all the way up to the bus line. Time was only to the back trees. Waited a good 2 hours to get on the bus, but we got to the concert. They were able to see Exodus and one other band. When they were waiting for Coheed and Cambria, that's whenever the rain started. Then it poured, and they were dancing in it. They were having a good time. Then it got kind of dark and started lightning, so we went back towards the info booth. We asked what was happening and going on, like what they wanted us to do, and they said get in the bus. They are evacuating. So we're scared with our daughter and get in line. Luckily, we weren't too far back, but still took over 2 hours for us to get onto the bus. Hell of a walk back to the truck because the grass was so damn high and vehicles everywhere that we couldn't even walk a decent trail. So they get back, shit happens, and they'll be back tomorrow. So Friday, we get there about 12 p.m., waited a little bit to park and got in line. The line was over halfway through the whole parking lot. No biggie, we can wait. Came kind of late, brought extra water with us. Then when they were almost right at the buses, they were telling us to get back to our cars because they were shutting it down because of weather on Friday. So we decided to wait it out just in case they decided to go again if it was just a short storm. After 2 hours waiting in the truck, we went to the store to get drinks since it was so hot, waited around, met some cool people, then got back in line to go join the others on the side of the road. Waited about an hour there. Then they said they were opening back up, so we got in line and then parked again and walked again and waited again for another bus. When we got there, it was 8 p.m. at night, over 8 hours waiting, standing in line just to get into the festival on Friday.
Jesus.
Now, the rest of her message is talking about, the no-show on Saturday and Sunday as well, which, we've already touched on that. But the fact that people waited in those parking lots for 8 hours to try to get into the event. And they were
with no shade and no water unless they brought it themselves.
Yep, or sat in their vehicles with them idling and running for the AC for the shade or, to stay cool.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And then we have one more, and by the way, the lady told me I could use her name if I wanted to. And it was Courtney Gilreath who sent that in. I appreciate you sending it in to give an outside experience because, like I said, my experience was drastically different than other people's because I was in camping. And then we had Brandy Stout sent us in that on Friday they had arrived to the blue parking lot at roughly 2 p.m. and sat there for 30 minutes inching forward, and thankfully someone coming back from the head of the line told everyone it was full and to turn around and head to the orange lot. Everyone started turning around in the middle of the road, about a half a mile worth of vehicles. They tried to get in line for the orange lot, sat for another 30 to 45 minutes, and once again was turned away from that lot due to full capacity. No one knew what to do, and they started just driving around blindly until they finally ran into security, and they led them to overflow parking for campers to get into the festival on Friday. It was a security rushed ahead of us with carts and shut us out with this tall gate that was barbed wired and wouldn't even tell us why. We sat waiting in our cars with no communication as to why we can't get in. At this point, it was close to 5 p.m. and people started walking, trying to get through the gate. They was told they wasn't letting anyone in because of the bad weather, and they'll let us in when it clears. Mind you, it's sunny and hot. So in total, we sat 5+ hours in our vehicles with no bathrooms, no water, no communication, locked out of the festival as music continued playing through the trees. Virginia police came and helped us get in around 7:45 and called it a capacity issue. It was never a weather issue. They oversold. Locked them out and had the nerve to post videos on their official page of bands they locked us out from. Spend hundreds of dollars on tickets to be locked out. Like, what the fuck, Blue Ridge?
Dude, that sounds about right too. Like that's just how fucked up.
Hang on. Hey, sorry to interrupt. Let me inform you on some ongoing developments. The local affiliate just ran the piece regarding this whole fiasco, and even the Screwed by Blue Ridge Rock Fest is declining on posting my post regarding that.
They wouldn't post. I shared this video thing into the Screwed by Blue Ridge Rock Fest, and they declined the post.
Well, this is the Screwed.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Screwed by Blue Ridge Rock Fest. Yeah, I that Facebook page. I shared this because I thought maybe people would want to see it, and they.
Yeah, it's really surprising the level that whatever powers that be are going to right now to try and really change the narrative on this.
Oh yeah, like dude, when I got home, like I tried talking to some of my friends about it, and they're like, "Dude, I didn't know it was that bad. I just thought it rained." I was like, "No, man, like this was really bad." Like it was at a show at Soundstage yesterday. Like a lot of people, if you weren't there, I feel like you don't really understand how bad it was because they're just the narrative that most people think that weren't there is that it was just bad weather. You know, nobody knows about how overcrowded it was, how bad the roads were, how underprepared the people that could have been prepared were.
And how badly everybody from the patrons, the people securing it, staffing it, everything, vendors mistreated, abused, neglected. I mean, that's the common theme across the board, no matter why you came to this thing for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I feel bad for the people that paid to go that were just completely screwed the whole time. And I'm just hoping that all of us that were working it actually get paid. Like I'm actually very scared I'm not gonna get my money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lawyers looking right now, and I mean for literally everybody involved, especially those that were working for this. Like this guy is going to end up being done. Like I made a comment earlier, like this guy should be barred from planning any event all the way down to a gender reveal party because he will probably burn that to the ground too.
Hey, so going back to Screwed by Blue Ridge page, not letting you all post and whatnot, I had a post approved for this tonight in there, and I can't even find where the notifications in my notifications where people were liking it.
They deleted it then.
They
Yeah.
must have definitely deleted it.
Wow.
Yeah, the thing, like we that's what I mean. Why I'm so sleepless right now is I've along with probably a lot of us is we've been spending all our waking moments, forced waking moments, fighting this crap, and now they're realizing that it's hit that point of it's getting out of control for them, and it's crucial right now that we keep pushing this. Because otherwise, this guy's really on. I mean, not just him. People like him. More people are going to get killed. More people are going to get hurt. And there's got to be a line somewhere.
There has to be. I mean, I was seeing reports that like the reason everything got like you all were saying earlier that there were reports the reason everything got shut down earlier in the day was like earlier Saturday was also because the permits got pulled. Apparently, the attorney general flew over the campgrounds in a helicopter.
I heard about that.
Like, it's so insane to think about that a festival that has so much like it has so much promise to be be amazing that it ends up going to complete shit.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm literally going through and commenting in every single post of the Screwed by Rockfest page because they're way less quickly to respond on taking those down. I mean, it's the only way to get something in is just bombard them.
I think it's crazy that a page called Screwed by Rockfest is trying to censor people.
Yeah.
That's,
there's a lot of
somebody
there's
must
so
like
much irony.
admin rights on that or something because that's fucked up.
Hey, Trish Welty said that that she's a mod on Screwed, and she said that the reason things are getting declined is because people are posting stuff over and over again and putting it out. That's why they were declining others first.
So it's multiples, and they're just declining the multiples.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense. They don't want it to be spam.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that it wasn't like a corporate buyout or something.
Yeah.
See, that's where my head is at this point. I'm just like, oh, I've lost so much trust for so many people.
But you know, Courtney, let's hear your experience of the weekend. And then we will get ready to wrap this thing up and say sayonara to everybody.
Sounds good.
Courtney?
What?
I
Sorry.
said, no, you're fine. I said, let's hear your experience of the weekend, and then we will get ready to wrap this thing up and let everyone finish enjoying their evenings and possibly get some sleep.
My experience? Okay. I've said over and over again, like, beside all the chaos and the technicalities of things, this was way better than last year. But I think it's because the people that we bring in our group. We're a pretty calm group, but we have fun. So, like, no matter what is happening, we're always going to see the light in things after we have a pissy fit about it. Yeah, we already went over. We sat in line for 12 hours trying to get camp check-in. But the girl that I brought, we were dancing in the road and sitting on top of her Jeep the whole time. So it's like making the best out of the 12 hours being stuck on a road that should only take about 30 minutes to get through. Thursday wasn't too bad. Billy kind of already went over all of that with the weather. We got stuck in the field with a couple strangers under a canopy just to ride out the weather. I don't know what else you want me to go into. Friday was a good day. We got to see who we wanted to see that day, and not much chaos commenced. I know you mentioned the water lines for the festival on Thursday. They didn't seem terrible, like you weren't waiting an hour. But there was a couple people that ushered me to the front because apparently I was turning purple from the heat, and I didn't really feel it. I just had a headache. But other than that, there wasn't too anything drastic that happened with our group. And then, so getting in Wednesday, I met somebody that is in a local band in upstate New York. And they gave us the connections of the party that had happened Saturday over by Camp Show Me Your Butthole. They kept us on the in with everything going on, essentially, I guess. I'm sorry, Billy. I'm a terrible co-host.
No, you were A-okay. I mean, my experience is that, yeah, it took us 12 hours to get in, but the camaraderie that we saw within our camping area alone was insane. Like, once the storm had passed, I got out of my vehicle, checked all the canopies on Saturday. Thursday, if we were just letting life live however it lived because we couldn't make it back. But Saturday, after the storm passed that morning, I got out, knocked the water off the canopies that we had around us, and went and hung out with the people around us, which we had been, chatting back and forth all weekend, giving each other brewskis, and just hanging out and having a good time. And then Saturday came after the storm was over, and we all just hung out drinking and playing spades. We were playing Uno for a hot minute, and then the rest of the crew from our hometown came through, and then it was just no holds barred, just party for the rest of the fucking day. Now, I say that what Blue Ridge did is fucked up, but I had more fun this year at Blue Ridge than I had last year at Blue Ridge. As wild as that is to say with the shit show, but I hold everything to me having more fun this year to who we were camped around, who our group was already that was at the festival, and also for just the fact that the campers pulled together and still had 2 pop-up shows. still force their way into having shows to continue to have some kind of live music. Like that right there is just like, what's that, Courtney? But hey, Courtney, you keep cutting in and out, and it sounds like a robot.
You sound like that.
But you know what, guys? All I'm gonna say is thank you all for joining us. Hey, Courtney, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's just you weren't coming through clear, and it was kind of sketchy. But thank you all for coming on and like letting us know what happened. A
Definitely.
little bit behind the scenes, and I want to get what really happened out there more than anything, because being a patron, I would love to figure out like why in the fuck I lost out on money. The real reason, not just weather. I was there Sunday as well. That's never we left, and the rain was fucking done by 10 a.m.
Yeah.
But seriously, thank you all so much for coming on, and hopefully we can chat again soon.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Real quick.
And for
Shout out my band Heart Band. Everybody check us out. That's one of the reasons I worked the festival. I wanted us to play it next year, but I don't know if I want to anymore. So check us out. I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Hey, man, there's always something way more worth than never doing rock fest, man. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I would not want to fucking play this. But yeah, check out Heart Bent. Heart Bent. It's your new favorite band. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you.
Dude,
We'll check it
everyone
out.
go ahead.
No, he said we'll check it out.
Dude, everyone go check out his band. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us on this pop-up live stream that we're having. Hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Check out our episode coming out Wednesday with Cannon Hill. You can also check out our merch store over at thewilsonkingpodcast.com. We got a little bit of everything for a little bit of everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Be safe, be responsible, don't drink and drive. Peace. Yo, thank you all so much for coming. Oh shit, it's just you. Yo, Courtney, thanks for chilling.
I'm sorry. I'm terrible at this.
No, you were fine. I was having a killer time. There was one point where like everyone was like they can't hear you, but I could hear you the whole time, and I'm like, fuck, bro, like what's happening? But that went really, really.
Yeah, I don't know.
freaking
I kept
well.
blacking out and then having to log out. Yeah. If I kept like over talking you, just tell me to shut the fuck up.
No, I wanted you to talk. But
Okay.
Peace, love, and hair grease. I'm gonna hop off here and go the fuck to sleep because I gotta go back to work tomorrow.
I might go get
Later.
sushi.
Hell yeah.
Bye.